Any questions? This is a unique opportunity. Do we have somebody over there? I guess Buddhist group is always a little bit quiet.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much to the morning panelists. My name is Tashi Samu from Bhutan. I just wanted to actually comment to our chairperson that it was a wonderful presentation from the heart you had given this morning, and it was really inspiring. Especially, I mean, this is not my time, so I cannot tell you what I have experienced. Similar thing with Pranyaparamita, the sutra, the diamond sutra that you were talking about, same experience in the past time, right? And also, the other thing I was going to talk to, I forget your name, sir, the ecologist. Yes, Dr. Chen.
Dr. Otto Chen.
That you were talking about the business, when you run business with the Buddhist principles, how it works, but at the same thing, I didn't get really the methods that you use to run business and entrepreneur, that when, how do you apply Buddhist principles to a successful ethics of business or things like that, because in my country, like Bhutan has come up with, as you know, the philosophy of the principle, the Buddhist, the philosophy of development as a gross, in order to gross national product, they have named as a gross national happiness, that how spiritual values are combined together, the business and the growth. So that's one thing that I didn't get clearly from your presentation. And can I ask all together?
I think we need a stop right there. We have, first question was to Andy, right?
Yes.
Okay, Andy, could you answer?
No, there is, I mean, it was just a comment.
Oh, okay.
Not
all right. I think the second is a question. That question was for you.
In terms of the methods that you can actually do, and from my own very limited experience, to be a successful businessman, particularly nowadays, the most important skill is innovations. Okay? Now, how do you have an innovative mind in today's business challenge? That innovative mind actually come from, and it could come from years of training of mindfulness practice, actually. Now, when you do that enough time, and a lot of venerable can actually teach us on how to do that, your mind will be wide open. There will be no limitations from, or no conditioning from prior knowledge, from prior conditions, and from your prior karma too. So when you really achieve that, your mind will be wide open. You'll be very easy to think out of the box, actually. And that's actually how you liberate all your previous delusion and liberate from your own bias, own perception that will constraining you. So a liberated mind, after you practice Buddhism enough, long time, is an innovative mind. That's what I believe. Now, that's on a personal level. But on a macro level, if you're trying to think about what is the method to bring happiness to the entire nation and to the entire world, okay? My answer would be, we need to apply Buddhism to economic policy. When the country is planning their economic development, we need to follow certain Buddhism principle in economic planning and policy. For example, we should emphasize education, spend a lot of money on education, because education is the one that will liberate everybody's mind. The more, don't spend money on military spending, don't spend money on jails, all right? Allocate more money to the elementary school, to the high school, to the college. Make all the education free. Not only that, we also need to practice good welfare program to take up the underserved, where China really consider, and so that they don't have to come to raise their money. The government actually can do that, actually doing a better job. And so I think those are basic principles in Buddhism, in compassion, and in not emphasize on material development or consumption, but you got to emphasize on spiritual development, because the psychology told us very clearly that human being, after we satisfy our basic need in material need, we don't get more happiness from that. If you give me more money, in this Dr. Case, he said everybody thinks that he is in heaven, but he himself thinks that he is in hell. And so he is a living evidence of how people can actually find happiness in life. So those are I hope I answer your question. I don't want to monopolize the time for honorable guests.
Thank you.
I want to add that's an excellent answer, and you are from an excellent country where you look at National Happiness Index and not GDP. I think it's GMH, right? Exactly. Where Buddhist principles hopefully are incorporated in your national policies. Here in the United States, because Dr. Kelvin Chen just mentioned that we need to emphasize on education, not on jail. Because this country does not put a lot of our kind of principles in the national policies. Do you know that it actually costs more a year to keep somebody in jail than to send your children to Stanford University? It costs over $70,000 to keep one person in jail for a year. It costs less than that to send your children to Stanford University. So, there is a problem somewhere. And from the Buddhist point of view, causes and effect is very clear. You need to have the causes. You want to cure the causes, which is education. If you're trying to cure the effect, just put people in jail, and then your jail will be full. You just keep building more and more jails. That's what happens here. Okay, so that's just my comment.
Thank you. There's one more
Yes.
question. I have one more.
One more question.
One more question. Sorry. Thank you very much for your answer. I mean, in Bhutan, by the way, the prisoners are made to build temples whenever we have temples built. So we make the prisoners to go and help build those temples. So that is for them to gain merit as well as for you save labor charge. So that's a win-win situation. My question, last question to our the auditor, is that it's amazing that you use this 6 parameters as a model for your auditing, because I run a small organization back home. It's called Bhutan Nuns Foundation. It's charity based. So usually when we ask the auditors to come and audit, we ask them to come and audit because we are responsible for the donations that we receive from donors. So we ask ourselves, and then usually the auditors are looked at as punitive, very punitive, and then the auditors also have to prove that they are doing their job by being very nitty-gritty. I think that is a good way to use that 6 parameters as a police thing, so that now I feel like our auditors need to be trained by you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Do you want to respond? Do you want to respond to her comments?
She's a Christian? I thought she just commented.
Yeah. Okay. We have.
Thank you. I'm a Venerable Dhammaratana, and in Theravada tradition, and also Venerable Miaohai in Mahayana tradition. Thank you very much for your great presentation. You throw the modern stone, but really a gem, because include that inspired people to raise questions on thinking. And what the lady asked the question remind me that current economy, based on the so-called capitalism, and what we would like to discuss here, whether we need to build the Buddhism economy, what is the basic stones there? And for traditional economy, they talk about the productive factor and the corresponding relationships, social relationships. So nowadays, the fundamental productive factor already changed. So from there, what kind of relationships, what in the spiritual aspect we need to focus? That is why, in Bhutan, they try to set up so-called GNH. And now, you gave us a very good lecture this morning, but still, based on traditional economy, try to put Buddhism factors into the traditional economy framework. So that's good to remind us to think, but how to set up our new Buddhist economy? That I think that is our purpose to come to thinking about and to discuss. So, thank you.
The actual way to do this, because the mainstream economic theory is based on classical economic theory that assume people are selfish. Yes, that's the main difference. In Buddhist economy, we think that, yeah, people may be selfish, but they also are compassionate and enlightened. Enlightened meaning that people can actually see in the long run, okay, actually give more joy than money can give you. So there are some enlightened people around us that can see that. But to actually make everybody believe that, the actual way is this. So we need to put more money into the research of Buddhist economy, a new economic theory that will be based on compassion, not on selfish. It needs to be based on selflessness, yeah. And then we also need to emphasize that just produce more goods, more GNP. That's what GNP is based on. It's based on how many goods and services a country produces. We need to measure what people's utility, meaning how happy they actually are, and that's what Buddha is trying to accomplish. So we need to emphasize on consumption. Right now, everybody, the whole world is crazy about how to increase production. But they don't care about, okay, after you gotta produce whether people are happy or not. So they're not paying attention to efficiency of consumption. All right? So we need to have more economists to switch the research into that area. How do we do that? Okay, Andy will give us an answer, right, Andy? Andy said he's going to find more money. So where do we put that money? We'll put that money to give researchers, new, younger generation of economic scholars to research and develop a profound theory of Buddhist economics. So hopefully, if we have enough famous economists really believe in Buddhism and is a better measurement of national happiness, then we can switch. We can change every more country to use the national happiness index. Yeah. So that's how you do it. You need to encourage more economists to buy into the business Buddhist economics, and as more and more economists really develop how to actually implement Buddhist economics into the mainstream economic policy, then the whole world will start to change. Hopefully, Andy will raise money quickly enough before we destroy the whole world, Earth. Yeah.
Fantastic. May I say something? I'm not a scholar, I'm a practitioner. So basically, I think everybody has kind heart, including businessmen. So as long as we can inspire more businessmen to join the Spirit of Giving campaign, I think we can change a lot of things in this world. So to me, I think economy is only one economy. As long as we can inspire more people to join the campaign, and we can make it better. That's my view.
Let me share my point on this one. I want to, Dr. K says he's a practitioner, I'm also a practitioner. Yeah. I want to share everybody a real example on one of my clients. He's a very successful businessman, and the reason he's successful is because when he is doing the pricing, how much to charge customer, he always keep in mind the other side need to make money. So he is allowing enough profit to be taken by his customer. So that's how he can be successful. So if we have the Buddhist economists to do it, I'd like to see if we can put this into the formula. You have to allow other people to also make money, so the whole business partners can be happy, not just everything is squeezed. I think right now the problem is squeezed. Yesterday I just saw a news that the Amazon, they are this morning. I don't know even how to say it, too big, okay? Yeah, on trillion, yeah. But their employees still go to get welfare. That means they squeeze their employees. I think in the Buddhist economy, we should design a policy that if a company is so successful, they should not squeeze their employee. Otherwise, the employee is in the under poverty level, and the owner has so much money in their stock. So I think this kind of giving is, very important too. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for the question. I never been in Bhutan, but I understand. It's called a happy country. Everyone there is very happy, and so someday I want to make it there. I don't know about other people, but because I came from a Christian background, when I read sutra, I am really serious. I'm dead serious. At the very beginning, I was trying to challenge, sutra, but as I read sutra, I realized that it talking about the universal truth. So I read into it, and if I agree what Buddha said, then my next moment I change my lifestyle. And so in everything I do, from the way that I talk, the way that I think, the way I try to align to what Buddha said. So at the end, we have two chat group called the Buddhism and Life. But Buddhism and business is only part of it. What I wanted to do is, because throughout the years, I either agree with Buddha or disagree with Buddha. But if I agree with Buddha, then everything I do has to, based on that Buddha's teaching. I in the Christian world, we had this saying, go to the church and sing hallelujah, and then when you get out of the church, you shoot somebody from the balcony. So you say one thing, and then you do another thing. So I always want to make sure that when I study sutra and I see a verse, and I thought, wow, this is really the truth, and this is what I need to do, then I will try to do that. And so, we all want Bhutan to be a wealthy country, okay? But absolutely no, I don't want you guys to be unhappy like the people here. I invented a product called React, and I invented that 14 years ago, and I had a patent on that. And when I went to school, right, and said there's going to be a shooting, and they look at me like, are you cursing me or what? So get out of here. So for 14 years, I couldn't really sell the product until 2 years ago. Then all of a sudden, everybody all say, hey, we're gonna have this, because they're shooting. They're starting to understand that it happened. So we went to a trade show, and there was Canadian people and from all over the world. And when we say, this is a product for when there's a shooting, you can escape. You know where to go, so we can save life. And the guy looked at me and said, we don't have angry Americans. Well, this is the wealthiest country on earth, but it's also the most unhappy people on earth. They shoot each other. And there's 3.6 million, prisoners. And just like, Kelvin said, they cost over $70,000. There are lots of people, in the United States not making, that kind of money. So spending that kind of money, they are not really putting the money at the right cost. So, it is my responsibility. I was being sent to United States by mistakes, I was in Japan, visiting with a visa. And my sister said, I want to go USA. So I said, okay. So we fill up the application, put them in the US consulate, and they say, are you crazy? You come here as a tourist and you want to apply immigration to US? So anyway, I called my aunt, and she called her friend. Her friend was Spark Matsunaga, senator of Hawaii. And he sent a telex and said, how's Carl's family, immigration process, just like that. And then they says, well, here's a senator saying this. So, we need to let Andy go. So the next week they call me in and say, you're ready to go America. I said, last week you threw me out, This week you just tell me that I go America. So every time when I look at Americans, and we need to spread that, Dharma, I thought of this. That's the reason why I came to this country. And talking about happiness and selfishness. Innovation, let's talk about innovation first. I have 52 patents, I'm not a good businessman, but I'm good in imagining how future will be. And so I kind of, invent products and then I patent it. So all the things that I'm selling and competition cannot compete with me, it's all because of my patents, right? So I was originally supposed to be a doctor, but I ended up to be a businessman, and all these patents kind of helped me. You know Steve Jobs. When I came to Buddhism, I realized there's one thing, and we are all trying to set our mind free. So that is good. I remember that's the way I was since I was little. My mom said, you wash dishes, right? Wednesday, you wash dishes. Friday, you wash dishes. Every day, this day, that day, I wash dishes. I would be thinking, is there anything that can wash this for me? I push a button and it will wash, right? I came to the United States, see? We got dishwasher, no? Right? See, if you have that, if you study Buddhism and you want to set your mind free, you will become the innovator. because you just want to set everyone's mind free, right? You know, I want to go from here to, I went back to Taiwan, you know, my little town, and I was going my grandma's house and then my teacher's house, and I remember it was a long way. But when I went back, I said, gee, it's only across the street, no? But why I had thought that way? Because I had to walk or bike, right? But now, you know, you get in a car and it's only 10 minutes to get there. So if we free our mind and we say whatever that we can imagine can manifest, if we set our mind that way, then all these innovative ideas will come into our mind. Very simple. I just want to set everyone free. So I saw the shooting and I said, you know what, wait a minute. You know, we need to save lives, you know, because, you know, shooting this way, this guy, because of the UCLA, the people, they text message to everyone, and, you know, the last one got was 42 minutes late, and everyone running, and then they run toward the shooter, because nobody knew where the shooter was, so they run toward there, right? So, you know, all what we want to do is, you know, if you have a mind that you want to set yourself free, and you want to help to set other people free, you automatically, all this innovative idea will come to you. Just like cell phone today, all computers, everything, you know, because you want to say, I push a button and everything is all done. So nowadays it could be done that way. And that's all from freeing ourselves. You know, unfortunately, in this process, we also imprison ourselves. We didn't know how to help others to do that. And talking about happiness, you know, like Bhutan, right? I always want to go there and see, okay, so how you guys, you know, how happy you are. I know I'm from Hawaii, and Hawaiian are pretty happy. You know, I mean, pure Hawaiian. I'm not talking about people living in Hawaii. Those Hawaiian, you know, whatever you say, he just laugh all day, and you know. So you know, he's just happy people. You know, so. You know, if we realize, and from Buddhism, that's what I found out. The most happiest things, I mean, many people say if you get married, you're happy, right? But, you know, a lot of time I don't see that way, right? You know, they say you make a lot of money, you're happy. I see a lot of people very rich are unhappy too. You know, you become director, you're very happy. I've seen a lot of unhappy directors. So whatever it is really not true. So I had to find out, so what is the real happiness? You know, everything is in the relativities, then what is real? And you know, what I found out from Buddhism is the most important things. And that happiness. For example, if you go home today, and every time you think, you know what? I need to get this thing, and you know, I have to go find Andy. Okay? If I can be in any way of helping you to realize your goal, and I know that, when I know all of you know that, that is the happiest things, to my own definition, to help everyone to be able to fulfill what they, you know, wish for. There's the, you know, when you were at lunch, and there's music called Only Time. And the only time is, you know, actually in time, your vow will be fulfilled, you know, your wish will be realized. So, you know, to me, if you look down inside, you will realize, and I experienced that, and I hope that, you know, someday you can also experience that. In Chinese, we have a thing called, I think it's called 助人为快乐之本, you know, something like that, right? You know, when you help someone, you cannot help it but feel that joy within you, you know. And I every time I was like, why I do that, and then I felt that way, right? And I realized that we are actually consist of the same quality of giving joy to people. If you really look deep, look down inside, you are the essence of love. You don't have to go out there and find love or anything, You realize that you are the essence of love and you are the essence of joy. So at least that's what I found. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think we have a very good discussion here. Well, yes.
I am Judge Amplifier Global. I am from Bangladesh, or on behalf of Congress British Association. My question to Mr. Andy Kao regarding how to successful one businessman. I think that one businessman did not have success without teaching of eightfold path. That is, it has 8 elements: right view, right intention, right action, right speech, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. What is your comment regarding one business success full without 8 full path? Thank you.
So let's see if I understand the question. So you are saying that, yeah, 8 noble path, right? And if how does a businessman
Successful without this attitude.
Oh, well, that is really depending on how you define successful. If you're talking about Amazon, right? You mean being successful that way. How do you define success? If you look at your everyday life, right? You will realize that what you really spend. Even if I just I cannot see myself too, right? So, I can only eat this much. I can only spend, this much, right? Let's talk about, how in my business, I still making a lot of improvement, myself. But really, just like, I think you said that, right? If you, in business, really, you have to make sure that the vendor makes money, you make money, and, the customer make money. A lot of times my customer say, I want to buy this, and I say, no, you don't want to buy that. And he said, somebody told me I have to buy this. I said, no, don't buy that. That is not going to meet your purpose. So usually, as a businessman, you have to help your customer to meet their purpose. And as a vendor, you have to to your vendor, you have to make sure that they make money too. Because I still remember one time I was in Taiwan, and the person quoted me $38, and I look at it and I say, that's not possible to make it $38. This thing at least is going to be 43. I've been buying from everyone, for so long, and this new company quoted me 38. So I walk into the company and Andy, welcome and blah blah, and like that. And business is difficult, it's like that. And I said, yeah, Mr. Chen, the way you quote me $38 for this, I'm gonna buy from you for 43. And of course he thought 33 or something like that. Why would anybody go 38? You quote 38 and you want to pay you 43. So I said, yeah. I said, you know what, Mr. Chen, if you sell it to me at 38, okay, a few years later, I'm going to have to look for a new vendor because you're going to go out of business. Okay? So, I've been buying this for so long, I know how much it costs. So I'll pay 43. Well, her wife came in, walked in, and said, "Oh, Mr. Cao, welcome to Taiwan. Oh, you know what? Business is difficult. And the price that we quote you, we can't make money." And then, she started complaining, and then her husband said, "Shut up." And he just gave us 43, okay? So, oh, really? I never heard of anything like that, So, really, if and to customer side, right? I have customers, because we become good friends, or whatever that you're going to give me a price, that's fine too, and, you just sell me whatever, And I said, no, it's difficult to have a connection to a big company like Costco, and I cannot let him lose a job. I have to make him proud of buying from me, right? So that's why I tell him, look, you have to do whatever you need to do, okay? So anyway, being a businessman, we have to help the vendor and the customer. And then I'll answer your question later, on the next session. Okay, thank you very much. My time is up. We're waiting on you, okay?
I think what Andy was telling us is a Buddhist economics, right? People ask low, you actually pay them high. So, and we need Dr. Chen to put a theory behind that and write a few books on this to promote another economics besides this capitalistic economics where people is driven by greed. I think we also need to put compassion into it. So thank you very much. I think we have a great discussion, and our lunch is waiting in another hall. Could we, our lay people, please stay back, and we let our Sangha lead first.